2020 financial services. I thought so I do all financial planning, but I thought I'd open up about how I came here today. I grew up on a farm just outside a little town called Smithtown, between Port Macquarie and Coffs Harbour. And growing up on a farm is brilliant. I wouldn't change one thing, but it's hard work. And yeah, I mean, I remember night times, we used to sleep for about half an hour. We used to get up and run through the paddocks, cleaning the irrigation heads out of the dirt. You'd be totally drenched, go to sleep for half an hour and run through the paddocks again. Or you work, you know, picking beans. I used to pick beans. Every birthday I used to get a bigger bean bucket. And I used to spend 14, 16 hours straight just in the bean paddock, just picking beans and eat beans for breakfast, lunch, but just, you know, that. So, but I learned, you know, I mean, the pressure of my parents, you know, I mean, the market prices go up and down. You get the hailstorm or you get the insects that destroy your crops. There's a lot of pressure on the farmers. And through my parents and through other farmers, I've seen how hard it was financially to survive on the farm. I wouldn't change the lifestyle, but it's terribly hard. And my hat goes off to any farmers because it's not an easy life. So I quickly learned, you know, I mean, the farm life wasn't for me for long term, and I'd seen the impact, the emotional impact it had on other people. So I thought, okay, what can I do in my life? Grade 12, I bombed out really bad. Spending hours on working, I think I got about 100 out of 500 in Year 12, so I got very low marks. So picking beans and that type of stuff, I had to do something, so I used to listen to sports and I followed the Tigers. So I was really lucky. I had a chance to go down to the '89 grand final, Balmain versus Canberra, one of the best grand finals. And I had the opportunity to work with Benny Lyons for a couple of weeks, and that really generated my passion for sports. So then I was thinking, okay, what do I do? I wanted to get into helping people financially if I could because of how hard it impacted on people around me. So I couldn't get enough marks to get into uni. So I found a prep course in Warwick. It was 12 months to get into uni in Toowoomba. So I managed to get into this prep course in Warwick. And my first year at uni or at Warwick, I started managing sports players, started doing their contracts, their sponsorships and things like that. At the end of my first year of uni, I got approached to get involved in setting up a rugby league club. Broncos played at Maccavat. I was involved with the Crushers setting up at Suncorp Stadium. So I was going through uni, being involved in coaching, setting up a footy team. And again, I've seen a lot of kids come in. We had a Super League battle, Australian Rugby Packer versus Murdoch. So I've seen a lot of kids get all this money and not to know what to do with the money. So that was another reason to drive me into financial planning. I was very fortunate through footy. I got an opportunity to, you know, involved in state of origin teams, Australian teams, all you know, taught different teams through footy. And then Crushers, we lost our licence at the Crushers, and then I was fortunate to be able to get involved in Melbourne Storm initially, the process there. So coming from the farm upbringing, which was long hours, very difficult work, a lot of hard work financially, getting involved in sports, I was, you know, just going through uni and finishing uni, and a lot of young guys didn't know what to do with their money. So that's the reason I got involved in financial planning. Yeah, so so farm background and being involved in sports is the reason. Now, if I go through and talk about, sorry, I'm rushing time-wise, regards to financial planning, the budget last night, a couple of nights ago back. Now, with the budget, every person, what I was going through, another thing in life was, had all my life going, and then, first I had a dream of getting involved in sports, and I was lucky to get involved in sports. And then in 2010, about this time, a couple of days ago back, I went to a wedding in South Australia. My life was cruising, had a big business, everything was going well. Married, we just had 2 young kids and married. And that weekend, I was in South Australia, my phone was running red hot. All my heaps of sports players going through issues with their partners. And I remember I was actually sharing a room with a good mate that coaches Collingwood at the moment. And I said, whatever we do, we cannot go through separation, because I had so many people going through separation. Unfortunately, that weekend my wife decided to leave me, so I went through separation. Craig went through separation just after I went through separation. So in the space of a weekend, I lost virtually my business, I lost my family, lost my wife and my kids, and virtually lost all my assets in the space of 3 days. So trying to hook one foot in front of another foot, I managed to do. And I was really fortunate. I got involved in Southport Life Saving Club, coaching nippers there. I got involved in Rugby League Club at Runaway Bay, got involved in the board there and then running the juniors there. But didn't matter what, and then like Lawrence talked about, because of the stress, I got cancer, I had to battle that as well. So that really drove me. I've had the highs and achieving my goals of being involved in sports and getting a uni degree, and then had the lows of losing my family, my assets and my business. So by putting one foot in front, I got involved in helping out kids, and that saved me. Getting involved in coaching nippers and rugby league and being involved in sports saved me. But everyone goes through periods of trying to achieve their goals and their hard times, and I've been in both parts. So that even drove my passion to help other people more, because without family and without good friends, and there's a lot of good friends here, I wouldn't be here today. So, and that really drives me to help other people through their downs and their ups as well. Now, that's a little bit about myself. Now, I'll just go through the budget. I looked at the budget. Now we're $1.15 trillion in debt. So I'm really lucky. I met a beautiful lady. I got married 2 years ago back, and unbelievable. Kerry's, I couldn't wish for anything better. And I've got 2 kids that have gone through the journey with me, William and Elizabeth. That means the world to me. But we're a family of 4. Now, with $1.5 trillion in debt, each person needs to give the government $1,190 to meet the federal government interest bill. So there's 4 in our family, so we owe the government virtually $5,000 per year just to meet their interest bill. So the government's been really open. Energy prices, see Sean, energy prices are going to go up 50%. Everything's going to get harder and harder because more and more money is going on the interest bill to meet government debts. So you've got to get your own personal financial sorted out. Don't depend on the government, because $1,190 per person, $5,000 for my family, has got to go to the government just to meet their interest bills, and that's going to go up. So I can't stress enough importance is to get your own self sorted out financially, because that's going to be crucial going forward. So that means getting your assets sorted out, make sure your retirement's sorted out, make sure you've got insurance, because I went through in the early stages of cancer. A lot of people go through trauma when they get stressed. Make sure you got the proper insurances in place and estate planning. Unfortunately, we pay tax and we die. When we do die, make sure our assets go to the right person in the right time. Is that virtually time, is it? With a bell before?
Yeah, you've probably got about 1 minute to go.
Okay.
Do you want to use that for questions?
Yeah, do you want just questions? Do anyone got any questions? I'll leave that 1 minute. Sorry, it was a bit rushed through.
Mine's not a question, but it's really nice hearing one's story and what they've been through. It just, because everyone's got a story.
Yeah.
It's really nice to know intimately in regard to one's lifestyle and all of that type of stuff. Because I know there's a lot of people here that cannot speak more highly of you in your financial services group. A lot
I
of you
didn't.
get a truckload of people here have used you and advised you, so that's how I know you, but it's also good knowing your history.
I'll just give a really quick shout out for Glenn. So obviously, like, you know, in my industry, we know lots of financial planners. Probably about 3 years ago, I referred some clients to Glenn. They'd shopped around and they were after a very, very simple statement of advice. And the quotes that they'd received from some of the financial planners were like thousands and thousands of dollars. And I can't remember what Glenn charged, but he was by far the most reasonable one that they found. And then I've just referred some friends of mine to Glenn, so I would not do that if I didn't have full faith in Glenn. So
I
yeah.
appreciate it, Nita, yeah. Okay, got in the 10 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Questions?
Glenn, would you advise Benny and Elias to kick the ball 2-0?
Yeah, with that 89 grand final, yeah.